Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. I have a very interesting video for you today. Now, are you somebody who, like me, wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning and cannot get back to sleep? And you walk around thinking, I'm never going to get back to sleep and start stressing about lack of sleep because we all know how important getting good sleep is. Well, I've got a thought and an idea that I want to share with you. Now, you all know, if you watch my videos, I have a very big fascination for medieval history. And I was reading a book on the people that lived in the 1300s and found that they used to practice something called segmented sleep. Well, they called it first and second sleep, but it's been written about. It's a very reasonably well-known phenomenon. But what happened, basically, is if you're what they got into the habit of sleeping was to match their lifestyle, and of course, when they didn't have electricity and all the kinds of things that controlled the times of day, they had to follow their natural instinct of their body. And this idea of going to sleep, maybe 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and sleeping for 3 to 4 hours. And getting up, actually intentionally waking up, getting up and doing things that needed to be done. Some craft work, maybe, something needed repairing, a little bit of housework, maybe, I don't know if we're not reading, but reflecting, thinking. Those were the things that they did in that time that they were awake. And they were awake for 2 hours, approximately, and then would go back to sleep for another 3 to 4 hours. And this whole idea of sleeping for 3 to 4 hours, which is like the first sleep, they call it, and getting up, doing some certain tasks or things you wanted to do, and then going back to sleep for the second sleep, 3 or 4 hours, was just absolutely common. And it's the norm, apparently, was the norm, and may still be in other parts of the world, in common usage. So I thought to myself, well, this is what I've been doing. This is it. I have been doing this without even realizing it, because, and I've spoken to you about this over the last few years. I go to bed early, maybe 9 or 10. I sleep for a couple of hours, 3, 4 hours, and then I normally wake up around 2. Now, my first instinct has always been to say, oh, come on, you're not going to get back to sleep. Have a cup of tea, or don't get up, stay in bed, and then of course you get stressed and you are thinking, your thoughts begin, and you cannot get back to sleep. So what I started to do, and this is before I really started thinking about this practice of the medieval people, was I would go back to sleep. I would get up for 2 hours. I would do sometimes crafting, coloring, reading, but never turning on the lights. And that's another thing in a second. Well, not turning on the lights too bright, but that's another part of this whole process that I want to share with you. But basically, this idea that you go to sleep for 3 hours, wake up for 2 hours, and then go back to sleep has worked perfectly for me. So during that wakeful period, what do you do? Well, you can meditate, you can read. I mean, the idea, I think, is to do things that, you maybe don't have the time, or, you just want to reflect on during the day, and you can take care of them in these 2 or 3 quiet hours in the morning. Reflection. It's not like an inconvenience, like you're trying to get back to sleep and frantically worrying that you're not going to get enough. You just say, you can do this. Just take the time. Do a few things for creativity, for reflection, prayer, just thinking, journaling. And I don't know about you, but for me, this works. So what's my typical night? I'll just review it again. I go to sleep about 9. I try not to use too many, I try not to use screens until the very last minute, but I'm pretty much on my phone until 8:45, maybe, 9:30. Then I go to sleep, and I'm very fortunate maybe that I can fall asleep almost right away. I've had a busy day. I've been walking a lot, and I fall asleep. And then I wake up almost kind of on clockwork about 2:30, and I just gently sit up. I usually put a glass of water next to my bed, so I have a glass of water, maybe lemon juice, something like that, and then I'll just sit up, maybe grab my knitting, have a little book that's near me. Sometimes I'll pick up my phone, sometimes. And normally it's just to see if there's been any messages, anything has come through from family or that come into my personal mail. Then I just take a look, and if anybody's tried to reach me, I'll send them a quick text or something if it's urgent, whatever. But it hardly ever happens that there's a message waiting that didn't come in before 9 o'clock. Anyway, so I try not to check my phone, but I sometimes do. If there's something going on in the world that I'm concerned about, I'll check the news. And I do that, even though it might kind of, make me think, but I'll just take care. And I just then do, I've done some like, I have these little crazy habits of putting wallpaper, removable wallpaper on little books. And I'll just, maybe get some of that, stick it on. You think I'm kidding, don't you? I do them. Seriously, but and I love that paper as well. But anywho, so something like that might be something that you do. But so instead of, I guess the point is that instead of feeling worried and frustrated that you're not going to get back to sleep and that it's that you're not going to be able to get that full 7 or 8 or longer hours sleep, you just kind of say, oh, whatever, I'm awake. I'm going to have the cookie. I'm going to have the tea. I'm going to just relax 2 hours, and then I think one of the key things I mentioned earlier is that it's not like turn on the lights, turn on the music, all senses stimulated. It's a quiet time. It's a quiet time to do things. I get up and move around the room and do things and work on little projects. And then I just sit back in bed. Sometimes I'll meditate, like as I'm trying to get back to I say trying, even using that word, even immersing myself back into sleep is kind of a natural process. So what are the benefits? If you're interested in doing this, it's not for everybody. And I am not a medical professional. I'm not saying this is a good thing to do or you should do it or everyone should try it. I'm just saying it's something to think about. If you're waking up at 2 in the morning and then getting anxious because you can't get back to sleep, maybe become a medieval person for a couple of days and just see how it goes. We don't have this, well, unless you're working in a job that has a starting hour and a finishing hour. And a lot of us still are working. But if a large percentage of us are retired in our 70s and 60s and 70s, and we can do this without having the alarm clock go off. If we need to sleep a little bit longer, we can do that. So it's just a thought. So what are the benefits? I did some research on this, by the way, and this is what it came back. The first was reduced stress. You're not worrying about it anymore. You're not thinking, I'm not going to get enough sleep. You're just saying, I've had my first sleep. I'm going to wake up, do a few things, then go back to my second sleep. What do you think? Is this too crazy? The second thing, the benefit of it is it gives you time for reflection. You can use that wakeful period to meditate, journal, or just relax and pray and think and just absorb your thoughts, but in a positive, quiet way, quiet time. Better sleep quality, some people would argue, that aligning with your body's natural rhythms. As long as you're getting into those deep sleep, REM sleep cycles, you're getting the benefits of the sleep. And so you might, in the end of the day, feel more rested overall. So, as I said before, if you're going to try segmented sleep, just do it, just to try. You don't have to make it a regular thing if it doesn't work for you. If you sit up all night one night thinking, I never got back to sleep, just don't do it. But for me, it's worked. I think that, again, keep the lights dim, quiet environment, activity that's reflective and not active. And, as I said, it's not for everybody. I just thought I'd throw it out there as an idea. If you're waking up at 2 in the morning, like I do, you have things that you might be able to fill that time with and feel relaxed about it. Try it. See what you think. Has anybody else done this? I may be completely, repeating what everyone knows. This is what you've been doing all your adult life, and you're happy with it. But I'd love your feedback. I really would. And I'm not telling you to do it or to try it. Just if you are interested, do some checking. You can just go online, check. What is the concept of segmented sleep? And our friends at ChatGPT or Google will help you understand it. But I think it's cool. I personally have found the time for me works beautifully. I feel relaxed. During the day, I don't feel tired. And, it's just my way. But what do you think? I'd love your feedback. I really would. Tell me what you think. And whether you've tried it, whether you might want to give it a try. Let us know. Okay, take good care, everybody. I want you to know how precious you are to me, and these videos are just simply ways to communicate thoughts and ideas of making the most of this incredible time in our lives. So take good care of yourself, and we'll talk again soon. Okay, bye for now. Have restful sleep.